So we have the fourth speaker in this section. I would like to invite Arturs Stalažs from the Institute of Horticulture, and the floor is yours.
I will shortly tell about the consequences of taxonomic changes of organisms in local names. Examples with some organism names in Latvian. Now is almost 270 years since Swedish naturalist Carl Linnaeus introduced the binary system of modern naming of organisms. Here are some examples from his names, plants from the first book printed in 1753, and next book about animal names in 58 published. Here is cover of the first book. Usually it is shortly known as Species Plantarum, but actually in that times titles of books were much longer, but usually now in nowadays usually this book is known after this short name. And since 1753 various changes have taken place. International codes have been developed and approved over time, which regulates the naming of organisms. It was found in the first part of last 19th century that was chaos in organism naming, because at the beginning there was not established some international codes, and zoologists were the first who introduced their first code, published in 1843. Later, botanists introduced their code, published in 1867, and these were first codes, and from those times, the codes have been changed many times. Now, biological nomenclature codes are several. General are international codes of nomenclature of algae, fungi, and plants. Formerly, it was known as Code of Botanical Nomenclature. International Code of Zoological Nomenclature now is also International Code of Nomenclature of Prokaryotes, International Codes of Virus Classification and Nomenclature, and International Code of Nomenclature of Cultivated Plants. This last code is related to International Code of Nomenclature of Algae, Fungi, and Plants, because cultivar epithets are added to scientific names also. And scientific names partly is ruled by generally by the first code, but also some scientific names are ruled by this International Code of Nomenclatures of Cultivated Plants. Now, also, there are additional codes, international standards for naming pathovars of phytopathogenic bacteria, and also International Code of Phylogenic nomenclature. This is based generally on DNA studies, DNA phylogeny, and this code regulates how to use names if phylogeny is studied. Scientific names are necessary to help the scientists to communicate internationally. But common names are necessary in science communication with wider public. Common names are usually more understandable for local people, local language in local languages, and also common names are more frequently used in daily communication in each language. but common names are not understandable for international audience, and this is the reason why scientific names are necessary for organisms. As we know, science is evolving, and taxonomic changes occur. And these taxonomic changes occur because some organism groups was not studied very good in past, and many new discoveries coming in light, and there are sometimes necessary some changes because new discoveries give some information what was not seen in past, and also changes sometimes are required by particular international code regulations. If we look, we can group taxonomical changes in two different groups. First group is new scientific discoveries. For example, revisions of poorly studied groups of organisms, or detailed studies at DNA level. This is modern technique to study organism phylogeny. Generally, it was started in late 1980s. But now it is widely used technique for understanding relationships between species, borders between species, borders between families and higher taxa, and also auditions of original herbariums and other collection materials. It is very important because any name of species or variety or subspecies is based on a particular herbarium specimens. It is or some other collections for other organisms, or for example for bacteria, type material could be bacterial strains, and as so far several millions names are adopted, published, and as names are organisms so numerous, scientists can't to revise organisms in one time. That means scientists need long time to understand what we deal with. And other changes is caused by international codes, code regulations. If it is found, also it is based on new discoveries when scientists found that some particular names are used incorrectly and contrary to requirements of the code of the and also if international standards do not support name preservation, it's usually it is called name conservation. And also some specific regulations when international codes changes. For example, most recent and significant changes in international codes in botany. In botany, it is now it is named one species, one name. It is here we speak about fungi. In past, different stages of development was named under different scientific names for fungus. And botanists need more than 200 years to understand that it is not correctly. And now is huge changing of names, of naming in fungus, in fungus group, because it is not logically to name the same species under different names. For example, it could be similar that we name larva under one name in zoology and adult beetle under other name, but in botany it was done a long time. Now it is stopped, and the very most news are changes in virology. For a long time, virus names was long word phrases, usually, no, generally based on English language. Now, virus naming is changed to binomen names consisting of two names, and these names also will be Latinized, and now more than 6,000 names already have been adopted as new names, and here is one example: common oak ring spot associated virus. It was old name. Now it will be named. It should be named as Emarovirus quercus. And some examples from Latvian traditions. In Latvia, most stable traditions was made in botany. Old established traditions demanded that if a generic epithet changes, if plant is moved to other genus, that the generic epithet should be changed to other name. For example, here is Aronia michurini, old name Michurina aronia, and new name is Michurina sorbaronia, because in 2013 this species was moved to other genus, and according to botanical traditions, Latvian name should be changed. But in past, Latvian names, especially during Soviet times, was based on local taxonomy system, and it was not it was easy to keep these traditions, and usually changes was not introduced so often. And now is problem that after Soviet Union collapse, botanical nomenclature is changed, because we adopted system used in other countries outside Soviet Union. And because in Soviet Union, in some plant groups were a different naming system. Plants, for example, Prunus genus was split in many genera, and for each genera was given Latvian names. Now these species are back to this Prunus genus, is one genus, and now is question also about new research results, because many fungi also in some plant groups have been changed this generic attribution, and we need to think in future what we do with Latvian traditions, because in some plant groups we have stable naming, and if we will start to change all traditional, all Latvian names, the plants being moved to other genera, we need to think what to do in future. Here is one example from zoology. Taxonomic changes what are actually it is not that species what was thought in past. Here is map, older map. It was thought that Osmoderma eremita is species what is distributed widely in Europe. Also in Latvia, we can see dots also in Latvian territory, and name Latvian name was Lapkoku praulgrausis, because this species is rare, and very important. It was already protected during since Soviet time, and it is very important species in nature protection. Now, it have been found that this species, Osmoderma eremita, do not reach Latvia to the north. And in Latvia, we have other species, Osmoderma barnabita. But problem is that entomologists use the same Latvian name for this new scientific name. This is not case when we synonymize two names, but this is case when we find that we have two species that we need to new name to new scientific name. For example, here is it is not correct approach from the viewpoint of terminology. And here are two samples about two mollusks in the same situation. It was found for a long time. It was thought that Arianus opuscus and Cerastoderma edule occur in Latvian territory. And traditions, according to all traditions, these species had own name. But now it is known that in Latvia these species do not occur. These species, like this previous insect, these species do not reach Latvian territory. And in Latvia we have actually other species, Arianus fuscus and Cerastoderma glaucum. And here is good terminological traditions, because when was found that in Latvia we have other organisms, other species got a new Latvian name, and old Latvian name remains together with old scientific name, and represents species occurring in other parts. Taxonomical changes what is based on herbarium specimen, what was not the species what was thought for a long time. Until 2009 was used system was two poor species, Salix alba and Salix fragilis, and was hybrid species, Salix rubens. And it was found that Carus Linnaeus, when he described Salix fragilis, he was not dealing with pure species, but with hybrids. And it was found that Carus Linnaeus never saw pure species. And there is a tradition in botany, also in zoology, to propose name conservation. That means it is necessary to conserve name, to keep stable traditions of naming. But this proposal was not accepted. It was rejected by International Botanical Congress. And here I will give one example, other plant. I already told that each species needs contain specific herbarium or other collection material which is used as type specimens, type material on which species is based. Here is name conservation procedure done by International Botanical Congress, and in past was genus Physalis, and Physalis type species was Physalis officinalis. But nowadays genetical studies found that Eurasian species Physalis officinalis belongs to other genus. It not belongs to Physalis genus, but to Physalis genus belongs American taxa. And now it was used this conservation procedure, and Physalis genus got a new type species, Physalis pubescens. That means Physalis genus was kept as genus with many Physalis species, but Physalis officinalis was moved to other genus. And now this Physalis officinalis should be called Alkegengi officinarum, and now Alkegengi officinarum became a type species of Alkegeni, and this typing conservation and type typification procedure also conserved type herbarium material, but this means this type herbarium material was moved to other gens. But as I told, International Botanical Congress rejected the proposal to conserve Salix fragilis for pure species, and in 2009 it was done taxonomical changes. Salix fragilis, as Linnaeus worked with hybrids, become name for hybrid species. And this pure species got a new name, Salix euxina. And during this taxonomical change, name Salix rubens become a synonym for Salix fragilis, as Salix rubens is later name. It can't be used. But now it is very interesting situation, because name fragilis is for translation from Latin fragilis, Latvian equivalent is trauslais, and now this trauslais vitos goes to hybrid species. It means change. This name is naming other species, but in past was pure species. Sometimes these taxonomical changes are very easy to for adopting local names, but in this case it was not easy. Interesting situation is Arion lusitanicus. It is Spanish flag. It is very invasive species in Europe. It occurs almost in all European countries, originated from territories of our days Spain and France, but not occur in Portugal. Portugal, and for a long time, this species was the Spanish flag was known under name Arion lusitanicus, but when it was done revision and published in 1997, it was found that in Portugal there is no species what are invasive in other parts of Europe, other European countries, and it was found that this species should be named with other name. Now it is stable already stable naming that Arion lusitanicus is Portuguese flag, and Arion vulgaris is Spanish flag, and this local name in both languages, in Latvian language and in English language, it goes together with Arion vulgaris. But to separate names for a time, it was used a scientific name with different authors. Same mobile and mobile. That means it is non-mobile. It is not the same what is published by mobile, but it is problematic in local publications, because in local publications authors do not want to publish scientific names with authors, or they don't understand what means this word non, and they are writing Arion lusitanicus mobile, and this is problem to separate local names if we want to add these names to databases, terminological databases, because it is impossible to use scientific name to separate. It's necessary to use local name to separate species. And in conclusions, I want to give one example. It is, I found during my work, I found that not only general public, but also number of scientists don't understand that if we have published many scientific names, that this don't mean that each name represents actual species. And for example, with Philodendron amurense, also now in Latvian publications, authors use 3 names. They are writings. We have three Philodendron species in Latvia, but actually this is one Philodendron species. It is a variable species, and if species is more variable, then it's more scientific name synonyms. Some species can have more than 200 synonyms in scientific names, and according to the different time when names are used, number of synonyms got equivalents in local language. That means these synonyms also become, these local equivalents also become synonyms to finally accepted name. And sometimes use of different synonyms can make a chaos, because some authors don't understand which Latvian name, for example, we need to use for finally accepted name as correct name. Now this is last slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Also a very complex and great topic, and we see that things are evolving in science, even in naming patterns, etc.